Thank you for staying with us. It's time now to take a look at stories making headlines on Nigerian newspapers. And I begin with the Daily Trust. The major story here says 38 herders killed in Nasarawa air raid. Our innocent members were killed by Air Force Macban. That's the Mieti Allah Association. They're speaking. A drone used for shelling of pastoralist Gabna Sule. It is worst evil of profiling. Northern elders also reacting to that. All right, we move now to the front page of the blueprint. Like Emilokan, Tinubu opens up again in Ogun. Fuel scarcity, Naira redesign plot to sabotage February polls. Declares this election is a revolution. We are going to win. All the details on the front page of the blueprint. To the Punch newspaper, recent crisis aimed at stopping me, Tinubu speaking, says Naira redesign, fuel scarcity designed to scuttle poll. Tinubu trying to blackmail Buhari Atiku campaign. Allegations unfair. Fuel crisis perennial, says marketers. All the details on the front page of the Punch newspaper. We'll move now to the Leadership newspaper. Naira redesign, fuel scarcity targeted at me. Tinubu speaking, says plans to scuttle 2023 elections will fail. Blackmail won't save you, PDP tells Ashiwaju. Right, Mike?
All right, I have the Nigerian News Direct here, and it says opposition hoarding fuel to sabotage 2023 presidential election. Tinubu is saying this. And the vows to reduce fuel price. It says no to strike in tertiary institutions. All right, the Nation newspaper is the next one, and it says Tinubu, fifth columnist behind petrol scarcity, Naira redesign row. Their plots to embarrass Buhari scuttle elections. That's what you see on the front page of the Nation newspaper. The First News is next, and it says on 2023, U.S. sends warning signals to election riggers, others. Islam's visa ban on persons who condemned, persons who undermined Osun Ekiti Goba polls. It says February elections under radar. Reiterates threats to declare ineligible for U.S. visa anyone found wanting in the 2023 polls. All this you see on the front page of the First News. This Nigeria is next. Senate jettisons Buhari's 22.7 trillion naira Ways and Means request. Senate jettisons Buhari's 22.7 trillion naira Ways and Means request. Says CBN Governor Emefiele, Finance Minister Ahmed failed to give details of request. Suspends plenary for elections. Okay, that's what you see on the first front page of this Nigeria. Business Day is next, and it says commuters groan as ATMs run out of cash. That's the big story on the front page of Business Day. Commuters groan as ATMs run out of cash. Right, Veronica, that's what we have now.
All right, Mike, let's look at this story that it's on a majority of the papers this morning, talking about the APC presidential candidates speaking. You know, they had their rally in Ogun State just yesterday, and he used that opportunity to speak his mind with regards to some developments across the country, talking about the fuel scarcity, the Naira redesign, the complaints around the Naira redesign. And he has said that it's the activities of fifth columnists just to undermine Buhari's administration's effort, so to speak, because he has said he is going to build on what the current administration has done. And, you know, he said a lot of things, mentioned the opposition with regards to this, and that has already begun to generate reactions. We see marketers talking about the fuel scarcity, saying that it is unfair for him to have spoken in that manner, that this is a perennial problem. And then the PDP also have come to speak about this, that he's trying to blackmail President Buhari, so to speak. Well, of course, we will definitely get these reactions coming out. But then What are your thoughts?
Well, the point there is, there will always be reaction. In fact, all presidential candidates, when they say anything, people can interpret, people can deduce, people can analyze. So it's the normal thing. But however, many presidential, in fact, most of the presidential candidates, especially the top ones, from where they speak from, sometimes the public don't understand
Absolutely.
the details of where they are speaking from. But those who are concerned know exactly where he's going. So this issue, I like the way the Nation puts it. He says fifth column is behind petrol scarcity and Naira redesign. There are plots to embarrass Buhari and scuttle elections. So the point there is, when some persons were saying, how come Tinubu is attacking the president? How come he's attacking his own political party and all of that? Those who are within what he's complaining about understand the message. And as it is, of course, for elders, it's not every time they say everything in the public. So we wait to see how this is going to turn out, whether we will understand it clearer as we get along, because there are going to be more clarifications, putting things in perspective, and then we'll see. Now, oil marketers are saying that this is a perennial problem. Of course, we have seen instances where year after year, since the past decades, there has always been fuel scarcity in the country. But Nigerians have also always known, government has always known that this is a man-made challenge. It is not anything natural anywhere where, like we saw fuel siphoning and diversion. It was some persons who went to siphon fuel from the pipelines, as the case may be. It didn't do itself. It was some persons who did that. Now, when we talk about the issue of smuggling of petroleum products to other countries and all of that, it is human beings who are doing it. And there are people within the system who are aware of it.
Absolutely.
So the point there is, in fact, we will also talk about the issue of hoarding the Naira. It is Nigerians that are doing all of those. It's not a natural thing, natural disaster where we didn't have powers over them. So there are Nigerians who are within the system doing things that will scuttle the process, doing things that will sabotage the system. And those are the things that the APC presidential candidate is speaking to. So those who are within the system, who are concerned, they know exactly what all that is. So for those who will interpret it to be him attacking the president, maybe they still haven't seen it from where he is talking from.
You don't expect them to see it in that light. We know how things are at this period leading up to the election. People will always interpret things to suit themselves, to suit their political party. It seems, okay, this is how we are going to interpret this to suit us. You can imagine a political, a presidential candidate attacking his own party. You know, that kind of interpretation is to sell themselves. It's not even logical. It's not even logical that any presidential candidate in the ruling party will except if there's a major fallout, like we had it, like it was recorded in Kenya, where the former president Uhuru Kenyatta had a fallout with William Ruto in that kind of a situation where they were not on the same page in some areas. But the point there is, in a situation where a ruling party, a candidate of the ruling party is throwing jabs, and then people interpret it to be at his own president, at his own leader. I mean, they were just in Bauchi some days ago. Exactly. Where the president actually said this is the party's candidate that they should vote for. So where is this coming out all of a sudden? Where if there was a fallout, of course, you would have seen the body language of the president, because he's someone that a lot of people have come to understand that he doesn't hide his feelings. You can easily interpret his body language and see what his stance are. He was there in Bauchi with the APC presidential candidate. They went to the palace of the emir there, and they spoke. So saying that perhaps he is attacking his principle, talking about the APC presidential candidate attacking the person of Buhari now, it's really not sounding right when we have seen what has led up to the elections. If we were not seeing the president and the APC presidential candidate moving together in some of these rallies, then you can begin to say, okay, perhaps the handwriting was on the wall for some time now, and this is what it is.
Yeah.
But that is not what we have seen
No.
in the past days.
Certainly not. Now, the point there is, of course, one expects that the president will be at most of the campaigns with Asiwaju Tinubu because it's his party.
Yeah.
But the point there is, this campaign is Asiwaju's campaign,
Of course.
not Buhari's campaign.
Absolutely.
So, Buhari, as the president of the country, still has state assignments, issues, things he has to deal with.
Definitely.
So, from time to time in select places, of course, he will, be out to support his own political party candidate and move on and so on. But however, although in the past we've seen instances where, in 2007, for instance, we saw how former President Olusegun Obasanjo went round every place campaigning for Yaradua at that time. So maybe Nigerians are used to that. So they expect that is what should happen. Of course, if it happens that way, there's nothing wrong in it. But when there are state assignments for the president to deal with, if at all, according to what Garba Shehu had put out recently, just a few days, I think yesterday, according to what he has put out, if that is the situation, Nigerians may still understand that the president may not be in all of the campaigns that the candidate is campaigning, in all the states as the case may be. So let's see how it goes. But we are watching how Nigerians are reacting. But they have the right to react the way they want to react.
Of course, it's their constitutional right.
Yeah.
Yes.
So we just wait and see how it goes.
All right.